If you need a way to feed your cat fresh, refrigerated, wet food at specific times during the day, maybe when you're not there, maybe when you're still sleeping, you are going to love a wet food feeder like this one. Now, Petlibro just gifted me their polar wet food feeder, and this promises to keep food refrigerated for up to 3 days. It comes with an app and everything you need. So let's unbox it and put it to the test. Out of the box, this is a beauty. At first I was worried that maybe it was too tall, but I realized my cat's water fountain is already at this height, so it's perfect height really. And then it just opens up by pressing this button on the front, and then you can open up and you can see on the inside that you get 3 meals at a time. So you could do this for 1 meal a day for up to 3 days, or 3 smaller meals in the same day. However you want to use this. I personally will be using it on the weekends when I want to sleep in. And then if we go on trips, I love that I can give him meals throughout the day. And then the rest of it is really quite simple, because the whole bottom here is just the refrigerated section. So there's nothing else going on here except for the spinning middle that this hooks onto, and then this top piece that will open for him at times of feeding. So just pop that in there, really easy to take out and clean as needed. And there's nothing else fancy going on here. And that makes so many less parts to clean. And it really does just clamp shut. And this is definitely cat proof, as there is no way to get in any part of it unless you press this button. And you really do have to press it really hard and push all the way in for it to pop open. So this is definitely cat proof. And it looks like it has 1 light right there. And on the back, you can see the vents for the refrigerator. And then it has a reset button and the plug-in for the power cord. And on the bottom, it just has these great rubber feet, so it's not going to slide around at all. So very clean. And on top of that, the only other thing that comes with it is the power cord, which is about 6 feet long and is a really nice braided cord. I really like that. Now, before I set up the app, there's only 2 other things I want to point out, and that is that it does have a temperature sensor right here to make sure it is actually as cold as it intends it to be. This will help keep the refrigerator running at the correct speed, power, whatever it needs. And on the bottom, it does have this point right here where you can add in 3 AA batteries. This is only for power outages. The refrigerator will stop working when it's running on battery, but it will continue to do the same feeding schedule. So just keep that in mind. That is only to keep running the feeding schedule. It's not going to keep the food cold. So before I connect it to the app, I do need to plug it in. So I'm just going to plug it in right now. And when I plug it in, I assume the light will turn on. Yes, it did. And that's all that should happen right now, because I don't actually have anything running on it. So let's set up the app. Now, to set up the app, you just need to download the Petlibro app. You can download it in the App Store by searching for Petlibro, or the user manual and quick start guide actually have a QR code to quickly scan. And once you download it, you will need to set up an account. And once you're in, you just want to press Add Device. And it found this immediately. You can see right there, Polar Wet Food Feeder. But if it hadn't, I could have added it manually as well. So really clean overall. I'm gonna add this device, and it wants to connect to my Wi-Fi. So I'm gonna connect it to Wi-Fi right now. And this is key, because it means that it will give me alerts even when I'm not at home. And I can change settings when I'm not at home, making this a great device when I'm out of the house, traveling, or working. So let me log into Wi-Fi real quick here. Okay, I've entered my Wi-Fi credentials and now it's adding device. It is pretty fast, but it will still take a couple minutes. It just needs to find it and set it up. Actually, that was faster than I expected. That went really quick. And now it just wants me to name it, and I can give it a location if I want. I'm gonna skip that and just get started. And now it's set up. I just press on the feeder, and it has this really clean interface. And then I can click feed now, or I can set a meal schedule. So if I set a meal schedule, it definitely wants me to have the food bowl in there. Makes sense. And then I can just choose when I want it to be fed. and how long before the door closes back up. So for instance, I could have it feed today, this afternoon, and then I could have it only be open for 1 hour, which might be too long. Maybe I want it shorter. I will learn what's best for me and my cat, and then I could even label that. So I could be like afternoon snack, and then confirm that. And that's just using one of the bowls. So now I can choose when the other 2 bowls are fed to the cat, but I could just start that schedule, and then I can also have it auto repeat, meaning that it will do it every day. So I would love to have it do that for me. And then on top of that, I could just have it open right now. So I can just set open now. And now it's going to open right up. You may not have seen that, but it did just open up, and it made a little ding ding that it's time to eat. Really quite cool. And now I want to test if I hit close now, if it will pinch my finger if the cat was still eating. So I'm going to hit close now, and I can put my finger in there. Doesn't feel great, but it doesn't hurt. And it tries again as soon as the cat moves away. No, it's not going to hurt you. So if the cat's still eating, they're not going to like getting bonked by that, but it's not going to hurt them. And it looks like it just keeps trying. Let's see if it'll try again. Yes. So it gave a little bit longer of a delay, but then it closed. So there's no pinching. It just spins and feeds the cat exactly when you want it to. And in device settings, you have the user manual. You can control notification settings. So I can control if it notifies me at all and what it notifies me for, which is so helpful, as I don't want to be notified for all of these, but I definitely want to be notified for some of them, specifically if the power supply has been changed. That's a key one for me. And then I have the status indicator right here. It's this little light. I can have that on or off. I would prefer to have that off, since the app's always going to notify me if anything's going on. I don't need that on, but if I wasn't always using the app, if I didn't have it notify me, this will light up with different colors if there's an issue. I can also control the sound. Not only can I have it do that little beep beep when it's opening, but I can change the way it makes the sound so it could keep playing during the time it's open, or I can just turn it off. And I think I'll just let it make the little beep one time just to notify my cats it's opening, but I don't want it beeping all the time. And then down here, really simple, just the firmware and Wi-Fi settings. This is really clean and simple overall, but that's exactly what I want to see here. And it looks like when it comes to feedings, it really is just showing how long it was open. Let me test that real quick. I'm going to open it back up again. And it makes a little noise. Let's put my hand in for like 20 seconds. And now I've left and it's still open. So I'm going to leave it open for another 40 seconds and see how that counts in the feeding time. Now I just closed it and it definitely worked as I wanted it to. It showed that it's had 2 visits now and that the total eating duration is about 25 seconds. So it definitely noticed when my hand was there and didn't count the entire duration it was open. So it is sensing me in some fashion, which is really helpful. I just wish I knew how it was doing it. And you can see in the logs when it says my pet came to eat, or my hand in this example, and that is really helpful to see. So let's put it to the test with my old guy and see what he thinks. Okay, so now it's set up. Let's open it up and feed him. See what he thinks. Definitely works for my cat. That's awesome. So now this will keep his food cold the whole time. And in the app, it actually says it's feeding right now, which is great. And I just love how well that's working. Let's close it and see what he thinks of that. There's it closing. No issue at all there. Very easy. It works wonderfully. It definitely gives him what he wants. I think he learned that bell sound very quickly. And of course, I don't need to have it do any sound at all, but I do think it's helpful to let him know when it's about to feed him. So that's really cool. And he is definitely eating more already thanks to this. And he's already sitting by it for more food when it's finished. So I think this is a huge success. If you have a cat that needs wet food, this is the best wet food feeder I have come across.